August 17th, regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Mr. Blue?
Here.
Mr. Brim?
Here.
Mr. Householder?
Here.
Mr. McCullough?
Here.
Mr. Watkins?
Here.
All rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody, this evening. We have a full house. I know that's not going to last very long, but it's nice to have a crowd once in a while. So, item 3, we need approval and a correction of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 27th and the special meeting of August 12th. Motion.
Householder. McCullough.
Discussion. Vote, please.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes. Passes 5-0. Item 4, principal, supervisor, and faculty reports. Anybody want to speak to that? All right. It's first day of school, so we don't have anything to report on, right? Good deal. And item 5 is our public participation section. Public participation of the board's agenda is designated for public address to the board with their compliments, concerns, questions. We welcome your comments. If you wish to address the board regarding a problem, the board reminds you of 2 things. First, your comments should be factual and respectful of the rights of others. Second, before coming to the board with a specific problem, you should have first addressed the problem with appropriate teacher, staff, or administrator. There again, first day, we shouldn't have any problems, right? 5A, High Point teachers. Who's speaking for them?
I don't think they were able to attend tonight. I'm just double checking. So
Okay.
we can go to 5B and Chad will introduce them when we get to your section. So,
All right. So we'll move on to 6.
We'll start with
No.
No?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
5B.
Okay,
You guys
let's do it.
okay?
Yeah, I wanted to keep them around.
Okay. You can put it at the end if you want.
No, that's fine.
We'll go ahead, and what we do in August is we always introduce our new staff and welcome them to Kenton City Schools. So we have a big group this year, and they all went through the boot camp and have survived their first day, which is always a positive too. But we'll go ahead and start with our largest group, which would be Kenton Elementary School. So Angie Fetterman, if you'd like to bring your team up.
Well, I'm Angie. Good evening, and the principal of building operations, pre-K 6. So I'm going to call Julie Simmons up. She is also, we're the old ones, principal of instruction. And our dream team is Robin Bain. She's principal 3 through 6, and her assistant is Matt Best. And my associate is Michelle Wise. So we're all going to introduce staff in our pod. So in A pod, we're going to have Lindsay Numbers. She's our new preschool teacher. Come on up. Bobby Pease is not here with us tonight, I don't think. She's our ed assistant in our cross-categorical unit. And Kara Weatherall is our new speech and language pathologist.
And in B pod, we have Katie Brim teaching first grade. Oh, I think, is she at tennis? Okay, sorry, she's at tennis. Mary Cook is also teaching first grade. Come on up, Mary. Jade Zartman is also a first grade teacher, along with Robin Schaefer. Our second grade intervention specialist is Amanda Hyder. And our new first grade educational assistant is Jill Weatherall, and she is not here tonight.
In C pod, which would be 3rd and 4th grade, we have our new 3rd grade teacher, Lindy Howard, and 3rd grade intervention specialist, Sarah Zoller. 4th grade teacher, Erica Grossman. 4th grade intervention specialist, Jamie Donaldson. Did you guys plan this? You went right in the order I had. They're really that good, I'm telling you. And then not with us tonight is Talia McInnes, who's intervention specialist, grades 3 through 5.
I'm Matt Best. I'll be associate principal of the DPA, which are grades 5 and 6. 5th grade teacher, Rebecca Kimmel. Sixth grade intervention specialist Brooke Purcell. Tara Oaks, cross-categorical unit. Lee Kelly, sixth grade. Derek Smith, who cannot be here tonight. Rachel McClure. And a familiar face in the pod as well, as student achievement coach, helping us from the high school will be Brad Blue.
Also new this year to the special areas, John Georgeson, who is helping with our general music and also helping some with band at the high school. And then I would like to also introduce Jody Cole, who is our K-12 library, in charge of our libraries, and she's going to introduce our new library assistant.
Working in the elementary library this year is Kenton High School graduate Chelsea Scott. Come on up, Chelsea.
Oh, they'll get you.
John will get you.
Yeah.
He's got you.
Smile.
Tim
Okay.
is going to take a picture just of KES, so if everyone would want to come over here, we can get that set up.
And welcome.
Welcome, guys. Have a good year.
And do you want to write their names or work so that you can, who's in front, up to the right? Thank you.
Pretty catch right there.
Crew right
I
there.
don't think our wall's big enough.
We'll give him just a minute.
Yeah, she's excited for kids.
She's with the radio. She's in good friends.
Yeah.
Short one runs to the
And
back.
she, Michelle Wise isn't in the pictures, and she a new principal. Matt's doing it, Robin's doing it. But Robin isn't.
Yeah, well, Matt's,
Matt's
Even Michelle, I know,
he's new this year.
new this year. Once they get you all set, you have to stay until Angie writes down all of your names.
He's got to be able to stand for it.
Not yet.
I want to know.
I'll tell you what, it's very difficult to predict in a year like this. There's so much variation. Like I said, it's been 40 I'm shocked. I think they'll be 38. And maybe 125.
It's not the end of the world.
No. I mean, it's everything, everything's gonna be hardest to have something. It's just,
It's we have corn.
yeah. Well, there'll be some of those around. But,
Yeah, you asked your dad. Yeah, he's had none.
So while they're getting down names, we'll go ahead and introduce Kurt Cameron. He's our middle school principal, and he can introduce the middle school new hires for this year.
Hello, my name's Kurt Cameron, principal, Kenton Middle School. I don't have an entire pack like KES does, but I do want to recognize some of our new staff members, not all of which are tonight, but I want to start out with Mr. Chris Becker, who is our new 8th grade math teacher. And really excited about our new art teacher, Matt Fry. And the last one that is here tonight is our new cross-categorical teacher, Catherine Mendez, aka soon-to-be Mendez. I believe September 6th, correct? So we're just making the switch early and making it easier. We also are really excited, and she wasn't able to make it tonight, but the district social worker is housed at Kent Middle School and is going to be working with Kent Middle School students in some of our units, primarily, and I think also the 5th and 6th grade pod. But her name is Jessica Parsley, but she couldn't be here tonight, so we welcome her. We also were able to secure 2 quality staff members out in the units that are housed at Kent Middle School, and the high school unit teacher is Scott Miller, and the high school aide is Carrie Miller. So really excited to get those 2 on board. And just to eliminate any confusion, Miller is a common last name. There's no link between them. They're just both Millers. So really happy about the new staff at Kent Middle School this year and excited for the year to come.
Great. Welcome back.
Welcome aboard.
And we'll do a middle school, high school.
You know what? In tradition, I always forget one person. And thank you, Matt, for your assistance there. Colby Rush, who's unable to be here tonight too. I think he has football practice rather, but we're able to get Colby really excited. He is 7th grade language arts teacher that took the place of Miss Kleinfelder. So we're really wanting to get someone quality in there and really excited about him in that role. So that's our last member.
Thank you. Chad, if you'd like to introduce your high school staff.
You guys need to go over there now.
Yeah, we'll do. As soon as Chad's ready,
Did he
we'll do
forget
middle
another
school,
one?
high school.
Matt told me it was Chris. He said,
Okay, I'm Chad Thrush. I'm the new high school principal, Kenton High School. Very excited about that. I'm one of 14 people in different or new positions at the high school this year. So a lot of different people here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce those that are not here first real quick, just so you have an idea of who those people are. Jason Jones will be taking over the assistant principal job that I was in the last 6 years. Ryan Collins will actually be teaching for us over at Northwood Building, which we're looking to possibly rename, but it's going to be the facility that we're doing the High Point extension from. And also there is going to be Deb Purcell. She'll be teaching the health related classes there, medical type related classes. And then Art Spragan will be there doing some manufacturing, also some welding, some different courses there at that Northwood facility. Also, Travis Wisman, who helped out with the band last year, will be heading up the band this year, so he'll be filling a new role there. We have 2 new social studies teachers, well, I should say 3 new social studies teachers, 2 that are not able to be with us tonight. Rick Hudgel is actually coaching volleyball, so he's probably practiced. Jordan Nickel is also one of our social studies teachers. I'll tell you about the other one here in a minute, but Bill Lawrence is going to be our intervention specialist, who is going to be working mainly with social studies. Leslie Kokensbarger will be helping us out with intervention specialist for science, so in our science department. And then Ashley Anderson will be doing ELA intervention specialist. So we actually hired 3 intervention specialists new to the district this year at the high school level. But those that are here, I want to introduce them real quick. Christina Cross is here. She's going to be teaching both a world history class to freshmen and also a government class to seniors. So she's one of our teachers. Eric Graisley, he's going to be teaching science, mainly physical science to our freshmen. But he'll be teaching science. And then also with us in a new role for us this year as a school counselor is Jennifer Rogers. She's here with us this evening. So a lot of people, but as I told our staff on the beginning, the opening day, really excited about the people we got. It's going to bring a lot of energy into our staff, but also just quality people. A lot of them have experience, so we're very excited about those that we're bringing on board this year. Thank you.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Look forward to it.
And I have one member to introduce to my Oak Leaf team. So being housed up here, but serving grades K through 12, which is a big role to fill. But Heather Hoppy will be our new school psychologist. So if you would come forward. we're happy to have Heather. So would you like to be in the high school, middle school picture? Sure.
Yes, that would be great.
Welcome.
We didn't miss anybody, correct? Can we give the paper to Chad so he can write down the names? Yep, thank you so much. And once they get this picture done, you are welcome to leave. You know,
Unless you like it hot.
Or you can stay.
Or you can stay for our
You
news.
talk about a good time. This is it.
We've actually shortened up the agenda, so we'll be finished a lot.
Oh, you just don't get out of it.
Again, thank you for coming tonight. We really
Yes.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Welcome to everybody and have a great year.
I hear you.
All right. Well, we'll stay. How about
You
that?
could have had some real brownie
We'll
points.
stay.
You missed out.
Wow.
Thank you. I'll make a, do you need a copy, Dennis, too, of everything? I'll make a copy for him. Thank you so much. No,
Okay, we all
absolutely.
met the new staff. We do have a new news reporter with us this evening. Well, Dennis, would you like to introduce your? Holly.
Everyone knows Holly, right?
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Actually, you know everything I know, so I should be done by now.
Yeah. All right. Number six. Okay, let's move on with the item 6A. The cash position, check register, receipt ledger, investment and budget versus actual. Motion, please.
Grim? McCollum?
Discussion?
Just going to give a quick update. I got the real estate tax settlement for Hardin County today, and it was up over last August settlement by $263,000.
That's great.
And then that also will give us another $38,000 in rollback in homestead. Wind-out came in approximately the same as last year. But I probably put the income tax comparison out there, so that was down slightly,
Yeah.
30,000. So,
Hey, Tracy, can I ask too, and this isn't really exactly what these reports, but where does the building project stand as far as closing the books, or what do you see, when do you see that happening, I guess? And I ask it for myself, but also
I really
for
don't
the
know,
public.
because
so.
I know Ada just recently closed theirs, and how long ago was their building project?
10 years or so.
Yeah, so I'm hoping ours doesn't take that long. I know that we get a call because there's an outstanding bill from February
Yeah,
for the contractor, but they have not done everything they need to for our construction manager to release it.
I see.
And obviously, we still have the savings account for the retainage. We
Yeah.
haven't paid any of that yet either. So,
And that issue is going to have to be solved, obviously, and
right.
so.
And I don't know, I mean, if they've considered that we are, our grass is the way it needs to be and all that. I mean, where does that stand?
Right.
So,
Well, there's
It
still
could
things
be
on the
another-
punch list.
There's
Yeah,
still things on the punch
There's still
list,
things
yeah.
on the punch list to go through, but
Could be another
Yeah.
year easily, obviously.
We're
That's the
10.
process.
I hope it's not that.
Okay. I'm just curious what your opinion was
That's
on
only have
that.
one contractor. I'm hoping it doesn't take this long, but obviously there are some issues.
Right.
So
Tracy, had we anticipated that kind of an increase in our budget already, or was that going to be additional?
that was going to be additional.
Any other
I
discussion?
knew it was going to be up, and I didn't know quite how much.
It's a good number to go up.
Yeah.
Okay, vote please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Yes, 5-0. Item 7, superintendent's reports.
I have quite a few things I just want to go over. The first would be the new board agenda format. So what we've done is condense things into basically a single motion for each category. That way we can streamline the 10-page agendas that we usually get. So I'm going to ask you and board members to look over the new agenda. And if you have any questions or concerns or something that you'd like to see differently for September, just please let me know. We thought we would try it this month because we had a short agenda with the special board meeting in August. So hopefully it makes sense. It's also still always available online, and all the information will be published. The next thing I just would like to talk about is band and musical instruments. So we have a great need for instruments for students who might not be able to afford to purchase one or to rent one through our rental company. And this prohibits them from being in band. And so what we are asking is if anyone has an instrument at their home that you do not use anymore, and you would be willing to donate that to Kenton City Schools so that it would become a school band instrument, those can be brought here to the board office, and we would be happy to give you a letter stating that you made a donation to the Kenton City Schools, and just know that you're helping a child who may not be able to be in band join. So I went to band fittings on, I believe it was Thursday night for 5th grade, and there's just a really positive turnout. There's a lot of motivated students excited about playing an instrument, and we just don't want things like a credit report to limit them from being able to play. We want to make sure that any child that wants to be in band can be in band. So that's kind of our mission this year. So if you could help us with that, we would greatly appreciate it. We already have students that we know can't get instruments, and we're trying to fill those gaps. So again, if you could just bring those to the district office, we'll also run an ad just announcing it to the community. We still are in need of bus drivers, and that would be mostly right now for substitute drivers, but we may be adding routes. One of the best ways to get hired as a bus driver in the Kenton City School District is to be a substitute to start. And I know that we are very short-handed right now, and looking for drivers. Brian Clausen can help direct people who might have an interest in becoming a bus driver, what you need to do and how that works. So, and we are also probably going to be posting here in the near future, and they'll start internally first, but we also will be needing some bus aides to help assist with our city routes to make sure that kids are at the right stop and that they have the supports they need and the drivers have the supports they need. So we'll probably have some part-time bus aid positions. So if there's anyone that would like to do something like that for the school district, once they post internally and are approved, those will probably be posted. But we have everything else filled right now. So we are thrilled and always still welcoming anyone that would like to sub as a teacher, as an educational assistant, as a cafeteria worker. Secretary, there are lots of opportunities to work in our district. We appreciate those substitutes. The last thing I just want to touch on a little bit would be the grants. So we had talked last month about being awarded both grants, but we really didn't go into a lot of detail about what those grants meant or the amounts, and I thought I'd just share a little bit of that with you tonight. So there were changes in the Ohio law that requires school districts this year to create 2 new policies that focus on career advising and a student success plan. So ultimately, just think of it as trying to get a plan for each individual student on what they're going to do upon graduation. So where's their place? How do they fit? What fields? It's just a means of planning. And we knew these mandated policies would be coming down the pike. So we, last spring, decided to write for 2 grants. The first is the Community Connector Grant. And that was in conjunction with the Hardin County Chamber of Business Alliance. And we received that grant. That's $128,000 for 1 year to serve students in grades 5 through 12. We also know that we have a big elementary school, so we wrote the other side of the grant through the 21st Century Grant, and that will be for grades K through 6, and it is for $600,000 over the course of 3 years, so approximately $200,000 a year to support programming for kids. And just to give you a little bit of idea about what those grants will actually do, we have to get these straight. The Community Connector Grant is actually titled the Kenton Professional Mentoring and Leadership Initiative. And that's how that grant focuses on building those partnerships. We know that when youth are connected to caring adults who help them build character, resiliency, and goal-setting, problem-solving skills, they have a much greater likelihood to reach their fullest potential. And we have a desire for our youth to develop workforce readiness skills and a shared sense of belonging in our county and in the city of Kenton. So that grant for 5th and 6th will embed career awareness and informal mentoring during and after school for all students, and create a new after-school program for at-risk students, which brings a child student success plan to life through formal mentoring, academic supports, and social emotional skill building. At our middle school for grades 7th and 8th, we will expand job shadowing and career exploration curriculum. So I'm sure a lot of you have had 8th graders visit your businesses or have seen them out in the community doing shadowing. So we'll expand that. And we'll also have every 8th grader leave with a 5-year academic career plan. That's the goal. And how we're going to accomplish this is that we added a course at Kenton Middle School that every student will take, and that's focused on our careers and our STEM. And when we define STEM here, we're talking about science, technology, engineering, and manufacturing, knowing that math is embedded in all of those categories. So typically M means math, but given where we live, given the jobs that our kids have a possibility of being in, what the workforce need is, we label it manufacturing. We're also implementing a new peer mediation program for grades 5 through 8, and they'll work on problem solving, character, communication, and resiliency skills and handling problems. Our Kenton High School students in grades 9 through 12, if you haven't visited our new Northwood Elementary building, and it will get a new name, I should take out the word elementary, Northwood building. That is a place where we're working with Ohio High Point to house 3 new STEM career tech satellite programs. And those programs would be advanced manufacturing, allied health and nursing, and IT help desk. And then we've also taken the program that Joe Funkhauser taught, which was basically programming in the robotics at the high school, and are now able to label that as one of our STEM career tech programs. And so we call that program IT programming. Let's see. So the grant for the high schoolers will focus on internships, mentoring, and capstones. And they will work on gaining 21st century skills for the workplace so that they can be most successful. Our goal is that Kenton High School students will graduate with post-secondary incentives to support college, career, and service work aligned to those jobs. Now, the other people involved in the partnership for the Community Connector Grant would be, besides the Chamber, would be Quest Federal Credit Union, Ohio High Point Career Center, Hardin County Ministerial Association, Ensign Associates. Now what Ensign does is they have a curriculum to teach both the business side and the educational side how to do an internship, what makes it successful. Because I think a lot of times when kids go into an internship, the business has one set of expectations, the school has another, and when they don't align, it doesn't make for a positive experience or positive use of time. So that's what that Ensign curriculum is for, is to help establish common expectations and realistic expectations for our students and our businesses. And I really think that's one of the reasons we've been so successful with getting these grants, because everything we're doing can be reproduced by other school districts across the state, and our programs are sustainable. So the last thing we want to do is to get an influx of money and not use it wisely, that we can't sustain it in the long run. We can only sustain it if we have 128,000. So a lot of that is in training people in Hardin County, not only in the school district, but also through the chamber and through businesses on how to do these mentoring internship roles. And that way we can continue after the money is gone. The 21st Century Grant is a grant that really focuses on economically disadvantaged students who score below proficient in the areas of reading and math. So trying to help and support them. And the way we're going to do that is through, I guess, a group that we've designed that we're calling Club Roar. And we want students to participate. There are about 232 students last spring that we identified that were below proficient and did not have the support networks at home or were economically disadvantaged. They were at a, not on the same playing field, if you will. So they need extra support, extra help. And so through Club Roar, they'll get either 45 minutes before school, 60 minutes after school, or they can participate in both programs. So it's really how much they want to participate in the extra help and support. And we'll also be able to pay for transportation for students who live in the city of Kenton, which is pretty spectacular for our K-6 building. So transportation won't be a barrier. So they'll get 30 to 45 minutes of personalized instruction and support in reading and or math every week. They would also get homework help, small group help, interventions, tutoring. There are literacy and STEM building projects to support what they're doing in the classroom, and they'll also have volunteers to help mentor and be role models. And the really cool part about Club Roar is that by offering these programs, and they're not all instructional, so also working on that social emotional health, those non-academic barrier pieces, we're able to offer it to the whole school. So where the grant money is focused on 230 some kids, or however many we have given the fall results, when we get our data in the fall, when we establish these programs, certain parts of it will focus on those kids, but ultimately by adding different after school programs, we'll be able to offer them to the whole building, which I think we're going to be able to touch a lot more lives, and that's going to be great. So it's all about the partnerships and the collaborative pieces that will go across our community. The Ministerial Association has a big role in what we do. They're linked directly with us to help us provide mentors and volunteers for programs. They're also opening up their resources, whether it be their church or other facilities, so that they can offer programming to kids even beyond our school day, so that they're linked, and there are lots of ways to help the kids. But I just wanted to take a few minutes and explain what both grants were, give you some insight. But if you think about it as an internship, mentoring, capstone piece, and that really we're going to an individualized plan for those that are at risk, as well as helping plan for everyone starting in 8th grade what their needs are and what their direction is, and then giving them the supports to achieve their goal. That's what these grants are about, and we'll keep pursuing grants that are linked to this kind of work for our kids. And the other grant that we received that we'll talk about next month a little bit is the Tony Cook Memorial Scholarship, and that's our international grant that links our students to different cultures and skills so that they get the world perspective as well. So I know that took a lot, but I don't know that we've ever explained what the work we've been doing. So I just wanted you to know as a whole what those grants were about.
I have a question.
Sure.
with all those programs and all that stuff going on, do we have room for students to come in? I know we've been close to our limit in certain areas before. Where do we stand with?
I think we're fine.
Okay.
Enrollment looked good. I haven't seen any big influx in numbers, and we're kind of maintaining. So I would say that we're able to serve anyone that wants to be here.
I know we were close in a couple of years past.
We have one class of 172, but I think we're still right in that 68 range right now with that class, 168. So it's really, as long as we don't go over 180 a class, we do all right at the elementary. Roughly, that's rough. There's some other factors.
It's not a bad problem to have too
No.
many students, is it?
We're thrilled.
All right, thank you. Any other questions of superintendent? All right. Move on to item 8, board committee reports. Finance committee.
We kind of mixed that with our special meeting the other day, so
Yeah, and Tracy has kind of the agenda that we went over, so.
go right ahead, Tracy.
Well, we again talked about the technology budget, and we talked about splitting it into 2 different budgets, one for our one-to-one initiative, and then one for any other needs that we would have, like repairs and maintenance. And I believe we put like teacher devices in that category as well. And we talked about giving Ryan a $600,000 budget for the one-to-one initiative this year. So he knows how many devices he needs, and he needs to.
Like 10% of that's just work.
No.
Scratch that
He
off.
knows how much is set aside, and he knows how many devices he needs, and he needs to make sure it fits within that budget. So we're hoping he has a device
Yes, a
picked for us soon.
presentation a little later,
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
when
good.
we get to discussion.
Okay. Then we also talked, Mr. Thrush had sent me a itemized list for purchasing a kiln for the high school art department. And we did look into a little bit more information about that, and that really is needed for some of the curriculum that is being planned, and it will also be utilized by the middle school. And so we went ahead and put that purchase order in place. We also talked about the phone system at the high school. We had talked about it at a previous meeting, but we didn't have the actual proposal. So now we had the proposal, and so we are moving forward with getting them actually on the same system that the elementary is on and that this building will be on. And we still have the middle school to work on sometime.
You mean one that will
And
work?
the classrooms at the high school.
And the classrooms at the high school.
We're only
Oh, we're only doing
doing
the
the
office?
administrative center.
Okay. Then somebody had mentioned about concrete, and we only have one quote. We're still trying to find another quote for putting concrete out for the band,
Right outside the band room.
outside the band room for the trailers. Then I talked a little bit about the diesel fuel prices, and I was looking at the possibility of trying to lock in a rate. I only was able to get some information from Legacy, and they wanted a 40-cent premium to lock in that rate. So right now, we're just hanging loose. Yes, we were kind of shocked about that. So, because I had paid 1.67, what I ordered last Tuesday plus tax. So, but they wanted 207 plus tax to lock in for 22,500 gallon through June.
Yeah.
So we did get another quote where if I said I wanted a delivery like in October, January and March, that kind of made the price or the cost a little less, but we're just gonna hang loose and see where the markets go, where the prices go. And then as Mrs. Penzarski said, we will be looking to add some part-time aides for the buses. And that was the finance committee.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And as Mr. Brim said, we kind of combined the finance and the facilities, so there really isn't much to talk about
They're
there.
working on the sidewalk at the high school starting today.
Right. And I
Last week.
did talk to Mr. Mendenhall, and he said he had done a quote on that pad by the door, and he was going to go back and relook at it and see if he could still do it for that price, so.
Hey, Russ, on facilities as well, I talked about seeding that area on the south side of Silver Street. I was up there this weekend and looking at it, I think we should just include it in the farm and just let it be cropped until something else is done with it. After thinking about it and looking at it, it's like, it's right across the street. It saves the bother of mowing it and everything. And I think it's accessible and farmable. It's not, big pieces, but the other small pieces that are contiguous to it are farmed now. And so I think it's reasonable at least to just leave it as farm ground and for now. So I didn't move anywhere. I didn't move forward with the seeding part.
We appreciate your efforts either way.
Exactly. All right, moving on to extracurricular.
I don't have anything. We didn't have a meeting this month, other than we've got sports started, tennis, golf started. I think soccer starts in the week.
Not just sports, but everything.
Everything.
Band, top 20 choir.
Band has a new practice field, and they seem pretty happy with it. They did go to Band Boosters the other night, and they discussed some things they were looking at, some things they wanted to do. So they had some equipment they were looking at. So I deferred it to our band expert.
It was definitely needed, so we were very thankful that Mark went and was able to bring back the information. We got some things Travis needed.
Good.
So appreciate it.
That's all I got.
All right, Career Center. High Point's just geared up and ready to go for a successful year, and Mr. Thomas did a fantastic job explaining and doing the satellite program that High Point is offering through we've got to find a name for this building.
Oh, yeah. Someday.
Northwood.
Northwood.
It's just
All right.
Northwood.
It has gone through a big transformation, and it's a welcome, building for everybody. Policy Committee.
We did not meet.
All right. Is there any old business? Moving on to item 10, as you'll see, the rest of the agenda has, as Mrs. Pizarski mentioned earlier, has been kind of done in a different format, but I think it's going to work out okay.
Thank you.
Yes, so everybody has had a chance to look at it, so I'll take a motion for 10A through 10C.
Brim?
Householder?
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. I'll take a motion for items 11A through 11C.
Householder?
McCullough.
Discussion.
I would like to explain 11B just quickly. We did approve the school calendar, but they just gave us our testing window, and April 20th falls within that testing window. So originally, we didn't put one in February because of testing windows, but now February works. So we're actually moving the April 2-hour delay to February so that we don't have a 2-hour delay during the testing window. So that's what 11B is. And Ryan probably has some information to provide about 11C. Is there anything you want to share out?
Well, do you want the whole thing or just a little bit of it?
Well, the gist of it is that we met, we have roughly a $600,000 budget, and we want to get as many one-to-one devices as we want to as many students. So our goal was 3 through 12. We're talking about 1,000 devices roughly, and that would cover the teachers that are teaching
1,500 devices.
1,500 devices is what you readjusted it to.
Well, that's 3rd through 12 is 1,500.
1,500. We had
7 through 12 is.
But we had, how many did we have? We had
Well, it's
Okay.
just the classes. The
So-
3
Right.
through 12 is,
Gotcha.
but 7 through 12 is what we're buying for.
Well, we're buying.
So that's your setup. Go from there.
So we got everything under sewer straight with everything. So when I start buying things, I don't get yelled at.
We don't yell.
Say that happens.
So the current plan is to buy Dell 11-inch Chromebooks for grades 3 through 12. The grades 3 through 6 for right now will stay in the classrooms. So every student in those classrooms, the teachers will be able to have them on a laptop at the same time in 3 through 6. 7 through 12, we're also buying bags for the 3 grade levels that don't have the nice computer bags that we bought last year. And then 7 through 12 will be assigned so they can take them home. This particular model was selected mostly for its workability. They had some military spec that it's good for, and I forget what it stands for. They have a spill-resistant keyboard and trackpad. It's a very durable device. This will allow us to shift our current equipment down to K through 2, so we should be able to set those classrooms up with enough for every student in every classroom K through 2. So in essence, taking our current equipment, moving it down to there and buying brand new here, it's going to be very awesome. K through 12, they should have a machine in every spot.
So Ryan went above and beyond because the initial was for 312 was our goal, and he's able to probably ensure that the entire district has access to a laptop. And it wasn't an easy task, and it was a short timeline, and I know he worked super hard on it.
On this stuff forever. I'm very happy with the direction we're going. When I stand up here in May and I'll do a first year report, I'll have a bunch of successes to talk about. So, because I haven't talked up here a lot, and I'm glad that this came up so I can come up here and talk to everybody. No, you guys have missed it.
Yeah, we've missed it.
What's the timeline for implementation?
I'm talking to a company out of Columbus, X-Tech Partners. That's where a lot of the school districts around us buy the machines. They'll help us because 1,500 machines that's a job. And we got to move the K through 2, 450 machines down to K through 2. So they'll help us get those ready. I don't have a timeline yet, but it should go pretty quickly. Because once this is done, I'm talking to them tomorrow about the timeline. But you guys hopefully approve of seeing this. Okay. You want to talk about anything else? Tell me yes now.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan, they are window-based, and
Wow.
they're window-based machines.
These are Chromebooks that are, they run.
They're Google.
Yeah, they're Google machines. I can give you a list of the other districts. Hard Northern and Ridgemont both are going through the Chromebooks, so it does give us in the town kind of a consistency with the other school districts that are around.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? Vote, please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Addendum item 11D, approve the out-of-state trip for top 20 show choir, March 4th and 5th, 2016, to South Dearborn, Indiana for show choir. Motion.
McCullough.
Second. Brim.
Watkins.
Brim, did you?
I beat John.
Good job.
Any discussion?
He's quick.
Vote, please.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes, passes 5-0. 11E, approve to go into executive session to discuss the sale of property. Time will be 7:48. And there'll be no other action taken when we return from executive session.
Householder.
McCullough.
Any other discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Okay, passes 5-0. As I said, there'll be no action taken following the meeting or the executive session. So the next regular board meeting will be September 21st, 2015 at 7 p.m. Thank you. As we said.